Hi everyone, it's Diane Evans with stampinwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So welcome to my YouTube Live. Remember that if you are watching through YouTube, make sure that you're subscribed. You can just hit that bell down below and you'll get notified immediately. And I do apologize, I am a few minutes late coming on here, and oh, you know what? I don't think I'm late. I think I'm early. So that's okay. I wasn't supposed to come on here till 4:30 and I was shooting for 4:15. Oh man, I've really got my days mixed up. Oh well. Welcome to my Facebook group. Also welcome to my Facebook page. I really truly do appreciate it. Remember that I truly appreciate you guys coming on here watching me live, or if you're watching me through the replay, like I say, I am humbled that you do come on and watch me religiously. So it's Technique Tuesday. It's Technique Tuesday and early Technique Tuesday. Like I say, normally I would come on a little bit later, but for some reason I thought this was Thursday. It's just been that kind of a day, and I was scrambling to get on here on time. So I'm hoping that you're going to enjoy this particular technique. This technique is another technique that does use embossing folders, and it's coloring on black cardstock. Now when you do color on black cardstock, it's almost impossible, so we have to set a base medium in order to do this. And the best way to do it and to color on it and give us something to color is through an embossing folder. So like I say, I'm going to go ahead and I will show you how to do that. And like I say, if I am early, I am so sorry. Remember to let me know where you're watching from. I truly do appreciate that. So let's go on down to my desktop here. And this is an embossing folder black stock coloring technique is basically what it is. And it's a real wow sort of technique. It kind of reminds me of another technique that we had done, but this one is really kind of amazing, and I think this is going to be one of those ones that you can do a lot of different ways. All right, so what you want to do is you want to take a piece of black cardstock. Now I just went with a quarter piece of black cardstock and I ran it through with this, and you want to run it through with a 3D embossing folder, and this is the layered florals. And so so what I've done is I've already run it through. Like I say, this is a quarter piece of cardstock, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down in a bit afterwards. Now the way to color on black cardstock is by using basic white and then using your regular water-based colors. So I'm going to use a lemon lime twist and a melon mambo. I know that looks a little wild, doesn't it? But it actually works out pretty good. And I know, weird as it is, I'm going to use the Petunia Pop cardstock because I think it works out okay that way. Now this Whisper White, when you do purchase Whisper White, what happens is it comes blank with a re-inker. So what you need to do is you need to go in and re-ink it. Now beware, it is very, very difficult to get in there and do it. So what you have to do is, it's really thick, and you would put it on with the back of a spoon is how I do it. But this is really, really thick, but I'm going to show you how I found a way to adapt this. For this technique, I am using a stamping spot, and this stamping spot actually is a canvas stamping spot. So I'm just coming in and I'm really inking that up. And this is something that I found when I did try this earlier, that this worked the best to do it this way, is I took this ink spot and I actually ran it, and I'm using the stamp pad. And this one way, what I'm actually doing is, hello Laura, I am turning around and I'm using the ink pad to re-ink the ink spot. Then what you want to do is you want to come in here and you are just going to, oops, that kind of didn't go how I wanted it to, but I will show you how that works. So what you want to do is you want to just do the higher edges of here, and you're going to get it good and inked up. So just come in ever so lightly because you can get some different streaks on your black cardstock. So I want this to be good and raised. You'll see I got a tiny bit of ink over here, but I'm not going to worry too much about that because I'm going to show you what I found that you could do. Now, because this is a pigment ink, you do need to go, hello Lorraine, I know I'm early, I'm really sorry. Got mixed up on my days. Anyways, you're just going to come like this and we're going to just ink that up. And I'm just going to actually just take that off and cover this up. Now we want to store that ink pad or that spot, we want to store it upside down just like this is stored upside down. Now I did find that what you could do was you could come in and you could take an eraser and just go and take some of that ink off. You want to do it when it's still wet. And then it's just like that. Okay? So then what I want to do is, and you want to let this dry. So you could come in with your heat tool on it. So I've done this ahead of time where I actually have one of these already inked up. And you know, I've got a couple of them done. This one's pretty good. Now it's not inked up as much as I did this one, but I do have another one that's inked up quite a bit more. And I think what we'll do is we'll use this one. Now, if you look at this closely, you'll see that there are some marks on there, but I'm just going to see if I can go in and just go ahead and put that in there. All right. So then, like I say, it's black. We have a medium on here. This is already dry. So what we want to do is we're going to come in now with our ink pads, just our regular ink pads. Now, I said on the instructions that what you could do is you could use a blending brush. I found it didn't get it dark enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm using a sponge dauber. This happens to be Melon Mambo. And I am just going to color it like so. And you know what? I could show you what it looks like with the Petunia Pop, because I'm using the Petunia Pop I'm using the cardstock with it. So I'm just coming in, like I say, like this. Now there's not that many leaves on this particular stamp or this particular embossing folder. So I'm going to color those leaves, like I say, with the lemon lime twist. But see how that's just inking up that, because if you normally went in, that is the ink on black. It does not show. All right, so let's just go and finish doing this. But what a different effect. Now you could do a lot of different colors. I think you've got to use a 3D embossing folder. So I thought that one with the circles would be fun to use and do it all multiple different colors. All right. So almost finished here. And you are going to want to have this dry as well. So that's that. Now I'm going to come in with my Granny Apple Green. And there's hardly any leaves on there, but we're just going to color up those leaves. And it really would help if I put my glasses on. So there is, now how beautiful is that? Now what's going to happen is this isn't going to come off, and I can actually play with this while it's still wet, because it's not because this is the dye inks, so they will tend to they dry a lot quicker. It's just that pigment ink that took so long for it to dry. All right, so like I said, this was 1/4 of an inch of the cardstock. So what I want to do is I want to cut this down. So I'm going to come in with my paper trimmer. And this relatively now is a simple card. So I'm actually going to do this 3 3/4. And I can pick my best sides by 5. Like so. And then what we can do is, like I say, I'm going to put it onto this colored paper. Now, if I had used the Petunia Pop, I did try it on something, and it went a really funny, different color. And I don't even know if I've got one on here to show how it went. I don't even think I do. It was just a small little spot that was on there. Okay. Now I want to use this piece here, so I'm going to come in, and there's a bit of, just going to color that off. Now I suppose what I could do to color that ink part in is possibly use Memento ink. So let's give that a try and see if that can cover it up for you, because you may end up getting something like that. I'm just going to come in with a sponge dauber. So I'm just doing this on the fly. I just thought of this. So let's see if that'll work. Look at that. That just takes that color, that white, right away from there. So no problems there. So I'm going to actually put that on the inside. All right. Wow, that worked out quite well. Didn't even think of that. All right. So then what I thought, well, okay, let's use the beautiful Petunia Pop ribbon around here. So I'm going to come in and let's just put some of that. Now, what I'm thinking of using is this lovely, what's it called? It's called Labeled with Love. I haven't used this much. It comes with dies or the punch. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a happy birthday here. So, really neat font, this particular one. And I am going to put that onto here. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to actually do this and then possibly turn around and either, I'm going to try it with black, the black Memento to begin with. I don't know if I can get it dark enough. Ah, thanks, Lila. Yes, you could do this if you had a masculine type embossing folder. Yeah, for sure. All right, so I'm just going to put that like that. Ooh, that's a good black. And then let's come in with this punch. So always with the punch, you stamp first, punch later. Like that. And then this can go on here like so. Now, I have another thought, and kind of a little too late to do this. But you know what? I think you'll be okay without it. I was going to actually try to put some slits in here and do it like a ribbon pull through. I just thought that would be kind of cool, but it's okay that I don't. So let's go and put our stuff here. Yeah, so remember the one that I dragged the embossing folder over? Well, this gives you a really dark background, that is for sure. But you could use this in navy too, if you wanted to. Navy would have been quite nice on this Petunia Pop. Just burnishing that down to get that off. But simple technique. But you do have to let your craft ink dry. And I didn't do it with a heat gun. I just came and quickly did it this morning and then went about my business and then came down to do it. All right. A lot of people on YouTube not making comments. Okay, so I'm just going to come in and let's put this across here. And if I don't like those leaves being that tiny bit of green in there, I could just come and then we could just cover that up with that ink. And I think that's what I'm actually going to do with this one. I think if it had bigger leaves, I think it would have been nice to be two-tone colors. Oh, look at that. All right. I'm just going to put this across here. Like I say, this is Melon Mambo that I used on the ink. And I used the Petunia Pop here. So let's check to make sure that that's straight. And it isn't. So just like that. And before I do the double, I'm just going to come like that. Now, another way I could do this is I could do this with white embossing on it, but I don't think it really needs it. So that particular one was labeled with love with the punch or the dies that go with it. All right, let's go ahead. Ooh, look, I've got ink all over this. Just come in with my sand eraser. And this will be covered up here, so it won't matter. All right, so let's go ahead and put that on there. I'll just put this onto the front. And then I'll put on dimensionals. And I don't want it flopping off of the ribbon, so I'm going to put dimensionals on the top and on the bottom. And that's where I'll use these strips of dimensionals. We'll just go in and cut those. Okay. So this will go in like this. And see, that avoids the, darn it, it avoids the ribbon and it won't flop on the ribbon is what why I do that way. Let's just put this on there. That'll pop it up. But very, very simple card. Fast to do if you do up this part ahead of time. Let's just put this on here like so. Now I want this as a faux bow, so I'm just going to come in and just tie a knot here. Have my ribbon scissors at the other end of the table. That's okay. All right, so just put that in there like that. And just trim this off. I say my ribbon scissors are at the other end of the table. This just folds in. I usually fold that ahead of time, but I didn't. Yeah, it's really a pretty way and very simple. Now I could have done more. Remember, when I do techniques, it's not really the card that I'm showing off, but I think it'll be okay. Now I am coming in with, well, I'm hoping I'm going to come in with, are the cute dimensionals that I used, or wanted to use the embellishments that I used yesterday, which these are the Sunny Day iridescent dots. I thought these would be quite pretty on there. So let's come in. And even though it's a dark background, I think this will work quite well. And we'll put another one of these, and let's just put it right there. There we go. So just like that. And I mean, it looks better actually than it does on camera, or what I see on camera. But they're like that. And then for the inside of the card, I can use, actually I want to cut this piece down too. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and I want to cut it down to 3 3/4 by 5 to match with the front. Now I could go in and use that same stamp set, but remember I had some of this left, so I'm gonna, that's 5, I'm gonna do it by 4 3/4, so it's a 1/2 inch that I cut off, and we're just gonna put this right down there, and that'll be the inside of our card. Yeah, I think it and like I say, I think it'd be very pretty doing it in different colors. When I picked this embossing folder, it just didn't show off the, I guess I could have done like yellow flowers there, but I got carried away, and then we'll just put this on the inside. We could also put silver dots on there, I think would be quite nice as well. But I can see doing this technique, like Lila went and said it'd be great to do it for a masculine card, and yes, it would be amazing to do for a masculine card. Now thinking, you know what other one would be really kind of nice with this, or is the butterfly technique, the butterflies, and then you could have more butterflies on there. This particular one, the beautiful butterflies, I think that would be a fun one to do as well. All right, so there is the technique. You do need to have white. Hello, Dolores. Oh, you know what? I was early though, Dolores. So you do need to have the Whisper White. We used Melon Mambo on here, and we happen to use, just for the stamp set, we used the Labeled with Love with the punch that went with it as well. So I hope that you enjoyed that. If you did, make sure that you do give me the thumbs up, share my video. I really do appreciate it. So I will not be on tomorrow. I possibly could be, but I have an afternoon class. So the last Wednesday of the month is an afternoon class, my monthly classes. So I won't be doing my mystery challenge tomorrow, but I will be back on Thursday at 4:15, just like this one was supposed to be 4:30. I'm so sorry. But anyways, so 4:15 Pacific time, and it'll be my Now What series. I do have an idea, and I wrote it down upstairs, and I can't remember. Remember, if you do live in Canada, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Remember to reach out. If you have any ideas or any techniques that you'd love to see me do, I will be more than happy to do that for you. But I think this one turned out okay. It looks really kind of pretty. It looks really pretty, actually, in real life, so hopefully it looks that great to you on screen as well. All right, you guys, remember to create, because it's great for the soul. See you Thursday at 4:15 Pacific.